Coming up on Focal Point, a local school district votes to improve safety measures. And in winter-like temperatures, a summer sport hits the mound for the first time this season. Also, the former dean of osteopathic medicine at MSU is arrested. Focal Point starts now.
Good morning, I'm Ryan Cole. We have new developments in the Larry Nassar case.
I'm Gabriella Galloway, and we begin with a former MSU dean behind bars. William Strample, former dean of the College of Osteopathic Medicine, was charged Tuesday with several counts related to sexual misconduct and willful neglect of duty. Back in February, interim president John Engler announced the university would strip Strample's tenure and ultimately fire him. Strample resigned in December in the wake of Larry Nassar's scandal. Special independent counsel Bill Forsythe announced the charges in a press conference Tuesday in downtown Lansing.
We received a credible tip with respect to Dean Strample, which we felt to be time sensitive. And as a result of that, we issued a search warrant for those items that I mentioned earlier and took them.
That search led to Strample's arrest. His arraignment took place Tuesday in East Lansing District Court. So here are the charges: misconduct by a public official, one count of fourth-degree criminal sexual assault, as well as willful neglect of duty. Strample is also accused of inappropriately touching MSU medical students. Police seized his work computer and found pornographic images. He's also accused of soliciting sexual favors and nude photos from students. Strample's attorney says he denies these allegations.
In fact, he was the one that reported the 2016 sexual assault. He's the one that kept that within the university and moved that up the chain.
He will be back in court April 27th. Then May 3rd, Strample will return for preliminary examination.
It's on everybody's minds. How safe are our kids when you drop them off at school? Okemos schools are making sure they do something to ease that worry.
My wife and I chose to live in Okemos solely based on the quality of the schools.
When it comes to getting an education, Okemos schools rank near the top.
The reputation is outstanding and still is.
That's not what Christian Brooks worries about.
I'm scared.
The mother of two Okemos students worries about what every parent these days worries about.
I'm tired. I'm tired of worrying about my son.
Brooks is a founding member of the Secure Our Schools organization. Right now, with the doors unlocked, it's as easy as that for me, a complete stranger, to walk into Okemos High School, which is why so many parents are so concerned. After the Parkland, Florida shooting and even a bomb threat at an Okemos school, the superintendent proposed new security measures. They were approved at Monday night's school board meeting.
The chances that you're going to get in a car accident are much higher, but it is terrifying to send your children off, especially currently in a school system that does not have locked doors.
Okemos doors will be locked now. Visitors will use a buzzer and be on camera to get inside.
Law enforcement experts and security experts are kind of shocked that we don't have in place already.
Dean Bolton, the president of the Okemos School Board, says he's disappointed that it's come to this in our country.
But nothing that we can do will ever prevent an attack.
The total cost for the new cameras and buzzer system won't exceed $25,000. But that's just the beginning.
There's a 3M film that can be placed over windows, and which makes it shatterproof.
In the future, the schools could redesign entryways that would route visitors directly to the main office.
There's a lot more work that we can do together, and I'm hopeful for it.
The idea of locking doors comes partly from the Meridian Township Police.
1 million people gathered in Washington on March 24th for the March of Our Lives. And it wasn't just in our nation's capital. Other cities took the lead, including right here in mid-Michigan. The march was organized by the students from Parkland, Florida, where 17 people died in a school shooting. So far this year, there have been over 24 school shootings. People gathered in Lansing to send messages to their state representatives, pushing for stronger gun regulations and bans on semi-automatic style weapons.
I'd like to go back to a world where we don't have to be afraid to send our children to school.
Thousands of people gathered here in Michigan's capital to take part in the march.
It's that time of year again where high school students can feel the pressure of prom and all the costs that come along with it. But as Focal Point's Angel Thompson reports, at least one part of prom might be within reach.
Hundreds of young girls and their parents stood outside in the cold for hours.
Started lining up at 1 a.m. this morning.
Kylie Bryan is a homeschooled freshman.
The fact that they're willing to just do this for free and they're willing to help girls who can't afford it or just need a place to go and look.
Kylie is looking forward to attending her first prom this year with her sister.
This looks just like the one Courtney had last year.
It would be hard for Kylie to afford a dress for prom, exactly the reason for the 12th annual Cinderella's Closet, sponsored by 97.5 Now, and this year's CSL Plasma. They will be able to have their dreams come true.
It's something that our company really strives to do, is to, reinvest in our community and to help those who are in need.
Ooh, Mom, look at this one. That one's cool.
Catherine Murphy is a Lansing school teacher, but is also a mom.
It's just like, when people are getting older and they have to choose between medication and eating. It shouldn't be happening. And the same thing with these girls. Not having a dress would just be really unfortunate.
So many dresses were donated, they had to cut off the donations.
I know we got well over 1,000 dresses in there. Well over 1,000 dresses.
Dresses like these to help young girls feel special on that magical night.
We can help out just a little bit. If we can put a smile on one person's face, I think we've done the best thing ever.
And for teenagers like Kylie and parents like Catherine, they have done the best thing ever.
Thank you.
In Lansing, Angel Thompson, Focal Point News.
Now, I know I never had to buy one, but I know it's a very big deal to find that perfect prom dress.
Ryan, I can't even tell you how many dresses I tried on until I found the right one. If you would like to find out how you can get involved in donating next year, contact 97.5 Now on their social media pages.
Coming up after the break, a protest at Lansing Catholic.
Plus, an MSU student breaks stereotypes with a yee and a ha.
Ever wonder where courage comes from? Where one finds the strength to believe in solutions that seem impossible? It takes a Spartan's will to understand that by working together we can solve the world's biggest problems, from renewable energy to fighting malaria. After all, if we don't do it, who will? Spartans will.
Months after a local high school reprimanded 4 students for kneeling during the national anthem, a community of protesters remained vigilant. Focal Point's Daniel Rizel has the story.
Cold.
Michigan cold.
Shaking in your boots cold.
Even in mid-30-degree weather and wind, picketers were determined to bundle up and stand outside of Lansing Catholic High School.
Standing up to support the 4 students who were punished for kneeling during the national anthem at a fall football game. Or for Tom Rico, kneeling himself for support.
It's important. I'm a Catholic myself. This is my diocese, and it's just really sending a message to the diocese that they really need to re-examine their attitudes towards these students and towards the issue.
The protesters were organized by LCHS4 and more, a group formed to hold the school accountable for how they disciplined the students last fall. Ravania Velasquez, the mother of one of the 4 boys, was delighted by the community response.
Stand strong in your conviction of right is right. We are here battling racism, and that needs to happen.
And support was returned to the group with a honk. But a few honks won't be enough to drive change, Velasquez said. Even with the appointment of a diversity task force, the school administration has yet to do one thing for the boys and their family.
How hard can it be, to apologize and admit that they were wrong, that they did a knee-jerk reaction.
And among the attendees, the opportunity to be an agent of change.
That's the only reason I would come out, would be to support them.
At Lansing Catholic High School, Daniel Rizel, Focal Point News.
Lansing Catholic has not punished any students for protesting the national anthem since late January. The Diversity Task Force is evaluating disciplinary measures at this time.
Hundreds of runners gathered on campus to raise money for a good cause.
Plus, the MSU rodeo team gallops its way into royalty. Deja Green joins us in the Spartan newsroom with those stories and more for our on-campus report. Deja?
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Gabriella. Pull on your boots, tighten your biggest belt buckle, and let's take a ride with an MSU sophomore. Kalila Smith wears the Miss Michigan State Rodeo Queen crown and tells us about the road she took to get it.
A city girl.
So everyone wants to know, how did I get into the sport, because I am black.
trades concrete and asphalt for dirt every chance she gets.
Blue is like my hungry fat self. So with him, it's kind of like, okay, I see food, I'm gonna go get food.
And Blue, her medicine.
I got into riding because we needed another outlet for my ADHD. So my mom was trying to find any and everything to get me into.
Saddling up for A's and B's instead of the usual C's.
And that actually brought my grades up. My attitude skyrocketed, and then in class I was more attentive.
Blue saved her. The city girl who needed direction found it at the rodeo, thanks to a family friend.
It's like, even though I won, I still have a lot to do to prove that I actually needed this title. Like, I actually worked hard for this title, because it's a lot of people out there that don't believe that I'm supposed to be sitting in this position.
Smith says she plans on going back to her hometown to give students the kick they deserve.
Actually get kids passionate about something other than basketball, football, something that they can actually do for themselves. But they don't know it's so much money in the rodeo world that they can win for scholarships.
And who knows, she might be influencing the next rodeo queen or king.
Kalila has been invited to run for Miss Rodeo Michigan, Miss Rodeo America, and Miss Rodeo USA. The 18th annual MSU Tower Guard Shamrock 5K brought a crowd to campus on the day after St. Patrick's Day. The event raises money for the Resource Center for Persons with Disabilities. Runners kicked off at 1 p.m. at the auditorium and ended at the Beaumont Tower. The Tower Guard is a sophomore group that assists MSU students with disabilities, helping them with classwork, exams, and other things around campus. Parents, students, children, and a special appearance from Sparty himself contributed to the event. The organization raised over $18,000 for the cause. Imagine living here since you were a child and now living with the threat of being deported. That's the life of two MSU graduate students. Focal Point's Kendall Ashman reports they did something about it the only way they knew how, by making a documentary.
The stress in school is the least of his worries.
I came to the United States when I was 15 years old, almost 16.
Osvaldo Sandoval is a part of DACA. He is a dreamer.
I came with my mom and my two siblings, my brother and my sister.
DACA grants illegal immigrants like Osvaldo to work and go to school.
Right now, they're still trying to figure out what to do with us, what to do with DACA.
The Trump administration proposed to end DACA back in September, which could send Osvaldo's family back to Mexico, a place he no longer considers home, leaving her future on the line.
Also, we have a daughter now. She's never been to Mexico.
There are 800,000 Dreamers in the U.S., and it will cost roughly $7.5 billion to deport them. But if they stay, they will bring in nearly $400 billion within the next 10 years. Osvaldo says the statistic just doesn't add up.
A point that needed to be proven, a documentary was made on Osvaldo and his best friend, Jose.
Well, for the documentary, I remember we were organizing the first Latinx film festival here at MSU.
Jose hopes the documentary ends the negative stigma.
Anti-immigrant rhetoric used by the president, and I guess just his administration, was that DACA recipients and just all immigrants in general are rapists, kidnappers, drug dealers, and all those things. And I'm over here trying to get a PhD.
So what happens next?
Hope. Yeah, that's the only thing we have for now, hope.
A hope. A dream. For Focal Point News, I'm Kendall Ashman.
For Jose and Osvaldo, there's only temporary relief, for Congress has delayed a solution the past 6 months. That's what's happening on campus. I'm Deja Green, back to you in the studio.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for some entertainment news.
We've got sex in the city, we've got marches in different cities, and we have an in-your-face story. Kelly Sheridan and Katie McCoy join us in the Spartan newsroom for the update. Ladies?
Thanks, guys. It was a busy week in entertainment. It sure was. This past Saturday, the March for Our Lives took place, and of the 1 million people that marched, we saw a few familiar faces. Kim Kardashian West, George and Amal Clooney, and Paul McCartney marched. McCartney said he was there for one of his dearest friends who died by gun violence, John Lennon. Miley Cyrus and Ariana Grande both performed in Washington, D.C. Actress Tiffany Haddish is stirring quite the pot after revealing in an interview with GQ that someone bit Beyonce in the face during a night out. Rumors say it was an actress who did the deed, but Haddish signed an NDA, so we will never know. Beyonce is currently gearing up for her On the Run 2 tour with husband Jay-Z. Cynthia Nixon, famous for her role as Miranda Hobbs on Sex and the City, is running for public office. The 51-year-old took to Twitter to announce that she will be running for New York governor in the upcoming election. In an advertisement, she says that something has to change and we want our government to work again.
In box office news, Black Panther was knocked out of its #1 position with the release of Pacific Rim Uprising. In its first weekend, the film grossed just over $28 million.
And after that, I Can Only Imagine, Sherlock Gnomes, and Tomb Raider round out the top 5.
That's it for entertainment. Back to you, Gabrielle and Ryan.
MSU football players were looking to impress NFL scouts who came to East Lansing recently.
Plus, baseball and softball are back. Angel Thompson has more on those. Angel?
Thanks, Gabriella. The softball team kicked off their home season this week. We'll take a look at their game against Western after the break.
Ever wonder where courage comes from? Where one finds the strength to believe in solutions that seem impossible? It takes a Spartan's will to understand that by working together we can solve the world's biggest problems, from renewable energy to fighting malaria. After all, if we don't do it, who will? Spartans will.
Welcome back to Focal Point. I'm Angel Thompson with this week's sports. Last year, Miles Bridges and the Spartans lost in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Bridges wanted to come back for some unfinished business. After another second-round loss in the tournament, the star sophomore is headed to the NBA. Bridges announced on Wednesday that he's leaving Michigan State to enter his name in the draft. He released a heartfelt statement to the university and on Twitter, thanking his teammates, coaches, and Spartan Nation. The 20-year-old from Flint averaged 17 points and 7 rebounds this year and was a unanimous first-team All-Big Ten selection. Fellow sophomore Nick Ward also put his name in for the draft, but his situation is a bit different. Bridges signed with an agent, so he officially declared for the draft. Ward has not signed with an agent, so he can work out with teams and decide to withdraw his name and come back to school. The deadline for him to return is May 30th. The Spartans are still waiting on freshman Jaren Jackson to make a draft decision. Jackson is a projected top 5 pick if he decides to leave. He has until April 22nd to decide. Michigan State baseball looked to get back to its winning ways Wednesday as they welcomed Western Michigan to East Lansing. The Spartans returned home to McLean Stadium for a 12-game homestand. They got off to a quick start when Chad Ross-Kelly singled in Dan Chmielewski's the bottom of the first 1-0 Spartans. But that lead didn't last long. Starting pitcher Andrew Gonzalez struggled in the second inning. Western gained a 2-1 lead on a bases-loaded walk. Then the Broncos broke it open with a 3-run double to right, pushing the lead to 6-1 and chasing Gonzalez. That score remained the rest of the way as the Spartans dropped to 6-17 on the season.
The effort in practice is very good. I think it's it's a great group of kids, and they, they're frustrated just like all of us are. And so it's not easy when you're going through something like that. I feel for them because I know they're hurting, as well.
The loss was the 6th in a row for Coach Boss's Spartans, who are 6-17 on the season. They host a 3-game series with Rutgers this weekend. Meanwhile, Spartan softball team took to Sakia Stadium for the first time this season on Wednesday. They also played host to Western Michigan. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead on the Broncos in the bottom of the first inning. A bases-loaded walk to Mackenzie Long opened the scoring. Then a sacrifice fly to the right off the bat of Kelsey Carrasco scored Caitlin Evelyn. Starting pitcher Christina Zelowinski made sure the Spartans didn't look back, striking out 11 in a complete game gem. The Spartans tacked on insurance runs in the 4th and 6th innings on the way to a 6-1 victory. The Spartans' record improved to 13-15 for the year. They host Indiana for a 3-game series this weekend. The MSU football team hosted its annual Pro Day on campus Friday. Brian Allen, Demetrius Cooper, Chris Fry, Gerald Holmes, and Brett Scanlon were the 5 seniors participating this year. Allen was the only Spartan invited to the NFL Combine earlier this month, so this Pro Day was big for the other seniors to prove their worth to NFL scouts. Michigan State is one of only 5 schools to have players selected in every single draft since the NFL-AFL merger in 1967.
I just kind of play the waiting game and see what happens. So just keep working out to the end of April and hoping I get a call, in those 3 days.
Man, just getting the opportunity, man. I mean, I love for my name to be called, and I'm still hoping and praying for that to happen. You know, no matter what the round is. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just ready to be on a team and continue my football legacy. You know, I feel like I'm not done yet when it comes to playing football, and I hope teams see that.
The NFL Draft is from April 26th through the 28th and can be seen on ESPN. That's what's happening in sports. I'm Angel Thompson. Gabriella, back to you.
Thanks, Angel. Can you imagine working a full-time job at just 11 years old? Now how about working one of the biggest sporting events in the world at that age? Meet Vendat Gupta, an 11-year-old sports reporter who worked March Madness in Detroit for Sports Illustrated for Kids. Vendat landed an opportunity of a lifetime. He even interviewed Tom Izzo after the game. Vendat and his dad know what they're doing. They talked with adult reporters for some advice on the cub reporter's future, but he's not certain he'll become a reporter.
I'd like to be an athlete as well, but I think it's cool. My goal if I become a reporter is to say the good things they do, especially because there's just too much negative stuff going on in sports.
Vendat sounds like a pretty bright kid.
He is. I was there, actually, and he has some great questions to the players and coaches.
Sounds like you got some competition there, Ryan Cole.
You might be right.
That's it for our show today. I'm Gabriella Galloway.
And I'm Ryan Cole.